And you need to look at your failures as a way to grow on those strengths, that they are a part of your success, not apart from your success. I know you guys have seen a lot of the videos on YouTube. If I could talk to my 20-year-old self, or if I could go back 20 years and here's what I've learned in the last 20 years, well, I'm going to give you my version of that. I'm 58 years old, and if I could go back 40 years, here's exactly what I would tell him. Nothing. I wouldn't say a dang thing to him. And let me tell you why. That 18-year-old kid was scared to death. He was homeless, and he was struggling. And he was going to make a lot of mistakes trying to get out of that situation. And that's okay. Because those things had to happen for me to sit here today and talk to you. I share it because I want other people who are in rough situations to know that I know. My dad had some demons that chased him pretty hard, and he spent his life trying to outrun them. Before I was born in '61, my dad escaped from the Seagoville Federal Penitentiary. He ended up going back a few months later, unwillingly, served his time, eventually got out, and then ended up traveling the country. Anyway, he ends up meeting my mom, who's also in a horrible situation. He was 29, and my mom was 17. She was one of 14 kids, and it was a bad situation she was in. It was a bad situation. And she meets my dad. He's this good-looking guy. He's got a new car. He's got cash in his pocket. And she never questioned where they came from. But because she was a minor, she couldn't go without her parents' permission. My mom was actually telling Melody and I the story again yesterday, that my dad gave my grandfather $65. For $65, he let my dad take my mom. We had periods of homelessness, and it was a struggle. My family colored outside the lines quite a bit. And that's how I wound up in Texas. That's how I wound up here. And it was at that point I was like, man, this kind of sucks. I felt like a genuine failure. And I still remember the night I had just got a new job. It was in Arlington. It was at Kenny Shoes at the Six Flags Mall. I didn't have an apartment, and I ended up having to sleep in my car. And it was Texas, and it was July. It was hot, like Texas hot. And I remember that, like, if you want to talk about what a failure is it was me. Like, I had accomplished nothing. We had actually lost our house in Duluth and drove out of Duluth on my birthday. I didn't get to take my finals. I didn't actually graduate from high school. It's a different time. Like, they just sent me a diploma. It was like, close enough. There were several things that made me feel like a failure, but really it was just situational. I was in a situation that was bad. And how do you escape it? My video isn't for the people with $100,000 trying to figure out how to turn it into $200,000. My video is for those people that feel like a failure. You feel trapped and you're not sure what to do. One of the things that you have to do to overcome that sense of failure is to quit looking at failure as the opposite of success, because it isn't. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's a big part of the reason that I wouldn't talk to 18-year-old me. That kid, that scared kid sleeping in that car, needed to do that in order to run our business like we do today. Our business is built around helping people. And obviously, I'm going to take care of my family first and make sure that they have what they need, even if I don't get to be here anymore, and to make sure I take care of my mom, and to take care of my in-laws, and when possible, help with my community. But I don't know that I have that same appreciation if I didn't have some of those early failures. So you have to stop looking at the failures that you've had as separate and apart from the successes that you've had. Failure is a part of success. One of the failures that I made running eBay, I had this sense that I was so afraid we weren't going to have enough stuff. Like, now that this is going to have to be a bigger part of my income, and I need to be listing stuff. I need to be selling stuff. I was so afraid there wasn't enough. And my mistake was not paying attention to like how much gets thrown away. This truly is a country of abundance. There's enough that gets thrown away just in my county for several lifetimes for me. But that sense of scarcity that didn't really exist caused me to make a lot of bad buys. I felt like I was in this race to go get the stuff. And you don't want to miss anything. FOMO, that fear of missing out. I would chase everything and buy everything and ended up with a lot of bad buys, a lot of stuff that didn't sell, a lot of stuff that nobody else was looking for. That was a huge failure on my part. But that failure has made me a much, much better eBayer now. For one, I don't believe in scarcity anymore. I think there's so much stuff out there, so much available. I'm never going to run out. I could buy stuff forever and I'm never going to run out of stuff to buy. So really now all I focus on is how can I buy better stuff? How can I recognize better stuff? It changed my whole outlook towards that stuff. And it's also allowed me to give away a ton of stuff for people that aren't finding quite as good stuff as I am yet. And I give it to them. I'm not charging anybody for inventory. I don't have to do whatnot or anything. In fact, the only thing Melody and I struggle with is how can we get stuff to people faster if we buy in bulk? How can we give it away to people that it'll make a difference for faster? We struggle with that, not with having enough stuff. So changing my mindset about failure and looking at it as a growth tool has just made us better eBayers all the way around. The other thing that I have done in my life is the mistake of comparing what I do to other people. As far as eBay goes, there are people that list 50 items a day, and they have videos showing you, here's how you can do this, here's how you can get. If and when I compare myself to what they're doing, I'm a failure. I've never listed more than 23 items in one day. That was my best day ever. I'm not fast at it. And if I have to live up to an example of somebody who is just going to bust a sweat for 8 hours, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to look like a failure. The other thing that happens with comparison, which is very real, and I want you to think about this for a minute. You're watching me on video. If you've watched my videos, I've shared some awesome finds and sales we've had. I like to tell the story. Goodwill bins, I found a Mitchell jacket, an M65 Mitchell pattern jacket. I bought it for $5. I sold it for $1,280. That made a great Instagram post, and it made a great part of, I've probably shared it in many videos. But what doesn't get shared in that, if you're watching it through the other side of this camera lens, what you don't see are the 1,280 jackets I went through before that one that were absolute trash. How many things I had to do to get that jacket. How many times I bought a jacket that wasn't good and had to learn from it. Because here's the thing about all social media, is that my videos are edited. This video is edited. In fact, this is take number 4 because I can't get the words out the way that I want to get them out. And I want to present to you the best possible video that I can. I want this to be as helpful as possible. And if I trip over my own words too much, then I end up starting over because I do. Now I'm tripping up too much. I'm wondering if I should start over. But the reality of it is when you go online and you look at Instagram or TikTok, any of the social media platforms, you're going to see edited versions of people. What do we edit out? We edit out all our failures, which are such a crucial part of success that we have edited out the very thing that might help someone grow. Why do we edit it out? Because nobody wants to watch the failures. If I put out a video and it just talks about all of the failures, it might hit the algorithm, but chances are it won't. It isn't going to get any views, and nobody's going to hear my message. If I want my videos to be successful, you've got to share with people all the massive dollars they can make. And this video isn't going to be like that. This video, I'm breaking it down for you that, like, I didn't start with anything. I'm never going to make millions of dollars because I'd probably give it away before I got there. I'm just going to make sure my family's taken care of. And that's enough for me. And to me, that's still a business. In fact, it's a wildly successful business because I'm helping other people with the things that I find and hopefully with the things that I say. I talk about comparison being the thief of joy, and I tell this story sometimes because it's real life. I graduated college, and it took a lot. I tell everybody I was on the 7.5-year plan for my undergraduate. It just took me a while for life to get rolling. And when I graduated, I got a teacher contract. And I got that teacher contract about the same time that Troy Aikman got his Dallas Cowboys contract. And I remember we're about the same age, comparing myself to him and honestly feeling like a failure. Despite overcoming being homeless and getting a college degree and a teaching job, I wasn't proud of myself because he eclipsed me. Even though I don't know him, he doesn't know me. He has different skills, a different life, a different job. I still compared myself. Comparison is the thief of joy, and you need to avoid that whenever possible. And probably the last thing that I want to talk to you about is about the need to identify a strength of yours. Every single person watching this video has their own story. If 100,000 people watch this video, there are 100,000 different stories. And those 100,000 different stories, there's 100,000 different strengths. Man, I didn't have much at 18 as far as strengths go. I wasn't good socially. I didn't understand a lot. I didn't understand anything financially. But what I did have, I had an ability to observe other people. I was able to pick up on the social things that I needed to do differently that would make me more competitive in a middle-class world. The more that I worked on that and mastered those, the better at it I got. That was a strength of mine. It was literally the only strength I had going into this life. You have a strength. I don't know what it is. There's too many different things it could possibly be, but you need to figure it out, because that strength, when applied to your life and your business, will make you more successful. Guaranteed. You just need to identify it, and you need to look at your failures as a way to grow on those strengths, that they are a part of your success, not a part from your success. I genuinely appreciate you watching. That's it for this video. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.